I'm concerned that when I speak to the members of this body, I notice that many of you are not listening, and I actually don't expect you to. And I don't expect my words to affect how you act in the next few minutes. That's why today I'd like to speak to the people of Texas and the people of this country. And I want to speak out against the process that has been used to ram this gerrymandered piece of work down the throats of the people of our state. So, I'm a process person. I'm an engineer for a living. I'm particularly keen on how we do what we do. So let me start out by pointing out that the whole process for this has been a sham from the beginning. Any member in here, any leader of this state that tries to tell you that there were public hearings on this map, that is simply a lie. That is not true. So first, what we have before us today is a committee substitute that was voted out in a formal hearing. What that means for the layman at home is a formal meeting is not a hearing to the public. And when the author of the bill gets up at this microphone and says, we're not required to hold hearings, they did not hold hearings on this bill. They did not hold hearings on this map. So first, I'm honored to be the vice chair of the redistricting committee. I've had a front row seat to all of this. That committee did not convene during the session. It wasn't important. There was nothing to consider. Now in the special session, suddenly it's become an urgent enough need that we have some hurried hearings around the state with no bill being presented to the public. So let me just tell you what a farce that is. We had a hearing here in Austin. We had a hearing in Arlington. We had a hearing in Houston. Those 3 hearings, only 5 hours each. No map had been presented. We asked the bill author and the committee chairman over and over again, do you have a map? Are you working with anybody on a map? Is there a map? And they told us, no. We haven't been talking to anybody. We don't know anything about no map. Still, the people of Texas overwhelmingly came out to complain about this process, this mid-decade redistricting process that they could only see as unfair because it's not based on new census data. It's only based on partisan performance. Between the 3 public hearings to solicit public input, we had over 3,000 people in this state weigh in. Let me be clear, 98.8%, almost 99% of the people that weighed in, whether there was a map in front of us or not, boldly decried this. The people of Texas spoke, and the leaders of Texas ignored them. 99% opposed, 3,000 comments. The worst part is that this map seeks to serve power bosses in Washington by dismantling communities of color. And when we put it that way, I know I have heard members of this body push back on that. What it does is it dilutes the voting power of communities of color by dismantling those districts. And just saying a recent court case allows us to doesn't make it fair. And just saying there's no law against redistricting in the middle of the decade doesn't make it right. Y'all, if you're losing a game so badly that you feel the need to change the referees and change the rules to help you win, maybe it's time to have a look in the mirror. Because this process has been a sham from beginning to end. The maps that we're voting on today were never reviewed by the people of Texas. It dismantles communities of color to serve power bosses in Washington. And that is that. So when it comes time to express your opinion at the ballot box, and I'm talking to you, the people of Texas, I hope you'll show up and show out and let these folks know that we deserve fairness, equity, and a voice in our process. The bottom line is the people should choose the representatives to be their voice, and we should not have power bosses in Washington deciding who gets to vote where so that they can install Congress members. Thanks for your attention.
Chair recognizes